So y'all
across the rocks.
Well, before that, y'all had taken off from the ground. You flew past some asteroids. Then you flew into a black wall, into some like colorful mist. And then continued flying through this mist for a little bit. Abby had kind of figured out a way to sort of accelerate the ship a little bit. And then y'all crashed into, well, you went through another black wall. And then y'all crashed into a desert, met some buggy people, jumped across some rocks, avoiding very narrowly getting swallowed up by a purple worm. And just as Shizena was about to get swallowed up, one of these bug people had came on by and helped lift them up from the purple worm's grasp. And so y'all are on this rock, and a purple worm has just kind of surfaced and has dived back into the ground.
I was asking if you had mentioned the person that grabbed me from the worm.
You saw that they looked like a crane. Yeah, they had like a little thing over their mouth. They have white eyes. Their cloak is a little more extravagant than the other two crane that you saw. Rod or staff on their back.
Are they on the rock that we're on right now with us?
Yep. Oh, and
okay.
They had said their name is Alroxen Ka.
Hey, Alroxen Ka. Do you know what that is? And I'll point to the worm.
She says, the purple worms. Yeah, they kind of live in this region.
Are they friend or foe?
Mostly foe. I mean, friend if you don't bother them, I guess.
How do you bother them?
It just anything really seems to set them off. I mean, I wouldn't want anybody coming into my home, but that's kind of already happened. So
what are you doing here?
I was sent out to go investigate your crashed ship, I guess. But then I saw y'all running across the rocks, and I figured you survived, which is interesting, and then two, I just wanted to help out. I didn't think you'd make it across the field here of purple worms. So,
well, luckily we did. We're actually headed into the city right now.
She says, "Oh,
why are we headed into the city? I forgot."
Well, we were heading to a library, weren't we? To go find.
Yeah. We're trying to. Yeah, that chick, that bug lady's granddaughter.
Daughter of my son.
To help us fix our ship.
Repair the ship, because they have some sort of book repair manual, something or other, likely in a library in the city.
Well, we're heading into the city. We're looking for someone named Zoka.
She says, "Oh, that you're looking for my father?"
I guess so. He's supposed to be able to help us fix our ship.
No, we're looking for his daughter, so I assume that's you then.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say he's been gone for quite some time now, so he wouldn't be able to help you. He wasn't very good with ships, so that wouldn't help you either way.
Yeah, I believe we met your grandmother. There was some sort of magical, I don't know, projection thing that couldn't speak to us, but she could sort of relay information to us, and she said that there was some sort of book or something about ships, and you could help us find it or help us repair it or whatever. So this is a pretty chance meeting already.
She says, "Well, I mean, I do know a lot about repairing ships, but yeah, I mean, you seem like nice people. You really shouldn't come back to the library. This whole place it's more of like a fortress, the library exists there because of the God King. He lets me use the library so that I can kind of help repair his ship. He just doesn't really like outsiders. In fact, I was supposed to tell him what I found at the ship, which I guess technically I didn't go to the ship yet. But I mean, the last time somebody came here, it didn't go too well for them. So,
well, who were they? The last people that came by?
It didn't really get a chance to look.
All right. Do you work for this God King?
It's more of an indentured slave.
By choice?
Only partially. I mean, he keeps me alive because of my knowledge and my ability to work with magical things. I don't know if you've noticed, but it seems like most divine power has kind of gone from this place. And then she also she motions towards the sun, and you can see that it's like this like dim red, and it's kind of like in the amount of time that you've spent here, it hasn't really moved.
Were you born here?
Yeah.
Really our only chance out of here, and it seems like we can't stay here because apparently y'all aren't very keen on visitors, but our only way out of here is through that ship, and we need the ship fixed, and it seems like you're the only one who can help us. So is there something we can do or give you in exchange for helping us and not telling the God King about us?
She says, well, I didn't really plan on doing that anyway, but... Well,
that's good. Good to know.
She says...
We're off to a great start.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of, to be honest, I'm kind of trying to find, any sort of means to, sabotage them, really. But, I don't have many opportunities to do so.
Well, if there's two things I know we're good at, it's helping people or dragons escape places and killing kings. So maybe we can help you.
She says, you've seen a dragon?
Oh yeah, we're I would say friends with a dragon, right, guys? Right, everyone?
I mean, we made a deal, and both of us upheld our individual sides, so more maybe like business partners.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough. We're business partners with a dragon. I mean, maybe y'all two can meet. I don't know. I mean, he's a cool guy. He seems, I don't know. Maybe y'all like each other.
She says, well, I mean, there's been many, or any, really, dragons around here. But, I was on my way to get my tools to, like, maybe pick your ship apart and stuff anyway. So... if you stay out of sight, I can go and get my tools without any sort of raising of suspicion. You can follow me, but I don't recommend it.
Well, you know this place a lot better than we do. So, are you saying that we have to go all the way back to our ship that we just came from?
Well, we had to go there anyway in order to fix it.
Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh, we're not very nimble, and there's a lot of jumping on the way back.
She says, well, usually I just, throw them a couple snacks and they kind of ignore.
What do they eat?
They'll eat anything, but I just throw a couple rocks. Most of the time though, I'm pretty good at jumping, so it's usually not an issue for me.
All right. Well, I guess we'll meet you at our ship, and we'll leave you to get your tools. We don't want to cause suspicion, so.
Okay.
And I will say I appreciate you helping us, but we still haven't, figured out how we'll repay you if you're able to get our ship up and running. What if we just take you with us? Well, I feel like killing the king that we killed was a lot harder than helping a dragon.
Well, I don't think you'd be able to defeat the God King, but...
Well, I mean, that's what other people thought before we killed their king, so who knows? I mean,
this whole palace here only exists because he kind of exerts his own sort of, aura, and is able to shape the very fabric of essence around him.
What's your king's name, by the way?
He goes by Gilgamesh.
Well, what is he the god of if he's a god king?
He thinks this world, and then if he's able to exert enough influence, more worlds.
Wait, okay.
Anyways, I don't. I mean, I wouldn't really go with you. I have to take care of my granny and Pokey.
The little one.
Well, okay, so you're saying we can't help you at all. We can't help you escape. We can't help you kill your king.
I'll find some way to do something. I like helping.
All right, fair enough. So I guess we'll meet you at the ship then.
Sure.
Okay, and I'll turn back and I'll look very disheartened at the path back.
You see her jump across like a couple rocks towards this palace that's it looks like it's gold plated almost, and it's more of like almost like a Mesopotamian kind of like stair kind of pyramid shape. It's not really like flat pyramid like where it's like the edges are smooth. It's sort of stepped. Yeah, so she disappears somewhere over there. Yeah, we'll say you take her advice and you throw some rocks beforehand, like you were doing just before, and you make it back there. Maybe only like 5 minutes after you make it back, you see her coming back as well.
I'll say, well, look at that.
And she says, oh yeah, I mean, she points off the direction of the like shack that you can kind of see as like a little dot on the horizon. And she says, well, I live just over there, so I have to pass this way when going home.
I'll say, oh, do you live with your granny?
Yeah, and my little brother.
Ah, cool. What's your little brother's name?
Pocky.
Pocky Ka?
Mm-hmm.
Cute. I'll say, all right, well, let me give you the grand tour. And I'll give her the grand tour.
It's just there seems to be some sort of like magical sinkhole. So I don't know if you know anything about that sort of thing, but casting magic around here doesn't seem to really be a thing that can happen right now.
She says, oh, interesting. She goes, how'd you... And she looks at the frame of the door and she says, how'd y'all get this open?
Arrow punched it. I'll like point back at her.
It looks like... She goes, that's interesting. And she goes over to the side of the door on the outside, and you see it lift back up and then comes back down. It looks like this has some sort of... It's like, I'm not sure what to call this. A bio lock, I guess. And she flips down some like goggles and like looks at it. She says,
we didn't fly this here or chart a course. It seemed to know its way from where we were to here, and we flew through like the whole cosmos and like crack in like the universe itself and crashed here. There seems to be a lot of heads and handprints and stuff resembling your race of people as opposed to any of ours.
She says, oh, I guess what I read is true then. This must be like an old Kreen ship. She looks at the door and she says, over here on this side, there's a secret spot here where you could cast like any spell really, but a cantrip, and this would open and close this door. But for me, and you see her touch it and then untouch it and then touch it again, and it closes and opens and closes and opens the door. She says, I guess if you're Kreen, it just opens. And then she walks in. The like Kreen head starts talking again.
Oh yeah, that's we couldn't communicate with them, but they've been frantically trying to tell us some things as we've been going.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of ranting right now. He says he's broken. She goes and looks over there, goes, oh, this is interesting. She like sticks her hand like in his head essentially and is like pointing down where it looks like the sphere is kind of like projecting up and making this Kreen head appear. And she goes, down here, look at this. These are like super small. And she shows you what looks like an array of very tiny magical glyphs. They're all kind of like chained together with glowing, almost like string, in these like random patterns that are going at like 90-degree angles all over the place. It looks like all these glyphs are chained together. Essentially what's causing this, I guess, a mechanical Kreen to exist. And she goes, oh, I see the problem. And she takes out her dagger and she stabs it onto one of the lines. Looks like a little bit of spark comes out of it. And she goes, there you go, all fixed. You hear the Kreen head talk in common. He says, but can you understand me?
Yes, we can.
He says, wonderful. And she goes, okay, well, that was easy. Was that all that's wrong with this?
No, the throne of this is broken in two, and it seems to be the sort of magical sinkhole that whenever I try to cast any magic around here, it seems to all head in this direction. And specifically when we interact with it, so the big gash where it got cracked in two gets all liquidy.
Interesting. Seems like it's trying to work but can't somehow. You notice that the light that is kind of coming in from the glass strip over the top has dimmed a little bit. Seems like it's got there's a little bit of a cloud coverage. So he goes, does anybody have a light? It's gonna be hard to work in here. Y'all just sat in the dark this whole time?
I don't have any torches. Did I assume somebody probably has some?
She says, what am I thinking? And she flips up her goggles and she goes, that's much better. She goes over there and she says, I can fix this, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
I mean, we can't really do anything anyways. So
she says, so how'd you try fixing it before?
Put the two pieces where they broke back together. And then it seemed like if we put some magic into it, it would get liquidy, and maybe we could sort of fuse it back together and then let it go.
I see the issue there is you didn't put the right kind of magic into it. She flips out her dagger. You need something from an artificer.
Are you an artificer?
She says, that I am. The only one here.
Ain't that lucky?
He says, well, based on what you were saying, it seems like the ship, I mean, if it's a Kreen ship and the Kreen built this, they would have a lot of things built in for them.
I think that's been our biggest issue.
It sounds like it knew where its home was.
Yeah, seems like that to me too.
We've been able to sort of magically attune to certain pieces, areas, and get them to work. We got some shields to work and some incredibly powerful magical fiery lightningy beam weapon sort of thing, and we got the anchor to work. There's still some holes we haven't filled in yet.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean it definitely sounds like this was made from, I mean, it must have been Kreen artificers, which is pretty rare. Due to the lack of magic on Athos, there's my people usually have psionic abilities, but every once in a while there is born someone like me who doesn't have psionic abilities, but instead are able to use magic in a different way. So from what I've read, this must have been one of the escape ships that my people used back in the day to kind of get away from the war that was happening on Athos before it kind of turned into this desolate planet.
So I'm pretty sure Wyatt didn't you know a Kreen?
That I did. His name was, well, I didn't know him. I just knew of him. I was kind of, he was one of those big shots in the war, and I was just a little guy, but his name was Taka. He actually had the same, I guess, family name as you.
Interesting.
Have you heard of him?
She chuckles and says, well, the last name is familiar. I mean, maybe we're both part of the same lineage that left this planet, generations ago.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he was a cool dude, and if that's any indication of how cool you are, I'm sure we'll get along fine. But he fought a bunch of dragons, a lot of dragons actually, probably more dragons than our world has ever seen. So he was a cool dude.
I'm gonna pull my sword out and I'm gonna ask her. Just out of curiosity, have you ever seen anything like this before?
She looks surprised and says, no, but this is amazing craftsmanship. Do you know the artificer who made this?
No, I don't. I was actually just going to ask you next, if you hadn't seen it, if you know anybody who's capable of doing something like this.
Well, yeah, no ordinary blacksmith would be able to do something like this. Yeah, this is definitely the work of an artificer. I haven't seen anything like this, unfortunately.
Bummer.
She starts to work on the throne there. You see sparks kind of flying. You notice that the sky is getting a little bit darker. As she's working on this, she says, what's interesting about this is this seems to have been a beholder helm. From the other things I've read in the library, they kind of changed their design over time. So this is like a really old helm.
Do the Kreen have any relationship with beholders?
From what I know, they attacked this area a long time ago. But I mean, this planet has been wrought with war for ages. It's like a never-ending battle zone, really. Currently, we're in some sort of peaceful moment, if you can call it that. But who knows when another war will break out.
What does this rivalry between you and the beholders kind of stem from?
Well, I don't think it's specifically us. It's just from what I know, the beholders, they just want to wipe out everybody who is not a beholder.
Yeah, fair enough. Are the beholders like a race, like a group of sentient people?
Yeah, they kind of look like this. She points at the helm.
I'll say, huh. Well, why would a Kreen put a beholder throne in one of their ships, just like as a war trophy?
Well, from what I remember, it the Kreen didn't throughout time really didn't have much of anything. So it might have been they scavenged it. This is actually the outside of this, the shape that this is made. It seems like a lot of different scrap pieces of electrum. It's the Kreen, I guess, back in the day didn't realize that you didn't need to enclose your ship in order to breathe on it. But I guess you learn over time.
Interesting. Do you happen to know who made this ship?
I mean, I'm guessing based on the craftsmanship and all the locks that I see all over the place, the long line of Kreens.
I'll turn to the AI Kreen, and I'll say, who was the last captain of this ship?
He says, Klek Ka.
Sound familiar?
It's Taka's father.
Ah, interesting.
You know that he was, when you were around the ship, he was kind of like the resident sort of, he was like a doctor, essentially, like doing like research, using the ship as his like office or hub or whatever.
During the war?
Mm-hmm.
So did I ever witness the ship in any other form than it was at the start of this campaign?
You had seen it like where half of it was underground. Previously, it was thought that it only had like one level to it. And then people like Abby and others were like helping to uncover more of it and realize that, oh, this is actually a ship. It's not just like this weird ancient building.
Okay, I'll turn to the AI again and I'll say, why did you bring us here?
This is the directions were to go immediately home in the event of an emergency.
What's the emergency?
Crash landing.
On?
And then it says unknown.
So it crashed, broke. We repaired it enough to where the AI and engine and everything could kick back on. And it's just like, oh, we crashed. Gotta go home.
Ah, I see.
It just wasn't on. It couldn't register anything until we put enough back into it, I assume.
Can you take us back?
It says coordinates unknown.
Go back the way you came from.
Unknown. She says, from looking at the glyphs, it seemed like most of what this was made to do is information, and the piloting back here, I guess, was like somehow it knows where this planet is, but not any other ones.
Is this the Kreen's home planet?
As far as I know.
Interesting.
Are you asking?
No, yeah, I'm asking. Roxanne.
She says, you can call me Rox or Roxanne for short.
Roxanne. Okay. So, I mean, I'm not that knowledgeable when it comes to history, but it seems like this planet was originally inhabited by the Kreen, and then this God King came along and kind of took it away?
No, he's sort of benefiting from the leftovers. Essentially, this planet was abandoned by even the deities. That magic doesn't really work that well here. Usually, that's you get magical power from the very essence of a planet itself. And as you can see, everything is kind of dying here, except for the God King's palace, which he created using what influence he had, and sort of growing that over time. She says, actually the population of my people were dwindling, and so we were running out of food sources. And he has one of the last clutch in like a stasis, and he's trying to essentially control who gets magical powers or psionics and who doesn't.
So, what is a psionic?
It's kind of like magic, except it's kind of the absence of. It's like magical powers in the absence of magic.
Huh.
You know what magic is, right?
I mean, yeah. I've never done it, but yeah, sure.
I give Wyatt a weird look, and I'm just like, you can. I know that it might be more of a like a racial trait, but I would probably consider it a magical ability to turn into a fox.
I'll say I don't know about that. That seems a little far fetched. Just moving my bones around.
I mean, I've only known druids to do that. That tends to be a form of magic. But if that's just a thing innate to you, I don't know that that's not magic.
I get you. Wyatt. I can't do any magic either.
I'll say it definitely doesn't feel magical. I mean, what does magic feel like, Is it like tingly?
I mean, it depends on what you're doing. I mean,
you have detect good and evil as a spell, so.
Oh, right, yeah, I do, you're right. My one spell. I'll say, oh, you're right. I mean, I have the strange and uncanny ability to detect good and evil. So
I have that too, but it's a ritual.
Well, mine's magic.
I mean, they're both the same thing.
Well, all right, smarty pants. Let's get back to it. What is what was it called? What was the thing that she was saying is like magic but not magic?
Psionics.
Psionics. I'll say, all right, so like, can anybody do psionics?
No, most Kreen can, but not me. But it's usually in the absence of magic.
So, okay, all right. And it's unique to Kreen. Like, no one else can do it?
I feel like I've heard of some creatures that can do it. Not a lot of creatures around here.
And you say the absence of magic? Like, there was some there to begin with, and then it was taken away, and it just sort of filled the void? Or
it's kind of like... A while ago, there were deities and people who worshipped here, but as there were less and less people to kind of give their praise to these deities, less and less people were able to do magic, and then people kind of stopped believing over time, and then so those deities didn't have as much power here, and so they kind of just abandoned this place. Then, from what I know of Gilgamesh, he came here as part of like a war with two. Whatever party they were with was fighting another party that wasn't from here either. He got left behind. He was really strong. Some people started worshiping him. He started gaining powers. Then some of my people started worshiping them, and then he realized that most of the Kreen had psionic abilities, and he kind of wanted those for himself, but he still hasn't figured out a way to kind of get those for himself. I mean, he also doesn't have any sort of artificer abilities, and I suspect that's the only reason he keeps me around is to help repair his ship. But I try to go as slow as possible. I'm not sure what he would do once his ship was fixed.
Maybe this is a dumb question, but can you tell me what specifically an artificer does?
It's like working with magic, but rather than pulling the magic out of the air or making the magic appear, it's in items.
So you make items magic?
Basically. She points to her dagger, and she says, I made this out of just like scrap that I found from some old ruins. Interesting.
So, like you didn't just like put things together, you did magic to, or a type of magic to them?
I guess so.
Say, okay.
I mean, I tried casting magic, but most of the time it doesn't really work. So I just kind of put it in items instead.
Huh. Okay.
I suspect, though, if I were to go somewhere else where there is some more magic kind of flowing in the ether, I might be able to do more magic.
The items that we like kind of put into the missing pieces in the boat are magic, right? Or is that just my cat eye?
No, yeah, they're including your cat eye. They're all magical artifacts.
Yeah. I'll take out my my glass eye that goes to the throne, and I'll say, do you think an artificer made this?
She looks and she says, "Oh, yeah, absolutely." She says, they were kind of a little bit of dark humor with this one, I guess.
How's that?
Well, it looks like it's an eye of a beholder, and it seems like it does what a beholder does.
I'll say it does.
Somebody
actually,
somebody really didn't like beholders, I guess. And she kind of looks at the helm, the throne, as you call it. She says, "Oh, I could see." She goes, "It makes sense now." Okay.
I'm a wizard, so I've sort of dedicated my whole life to studying magic. But yeah, it doesn't seem like I can do the right kind of magic to fix this throne. And I would assume until it's fixed, I can't really use magic at all because it just siphons it all.
Okay. Yeah, that's huh. And she kind of chuckles and she says, "A beholder helm, working like a beholder." So that kind of makes sense. She says, "Yeah, let me work on this some more, and I can get this working for you, so that way you can use magic. Although I don't know how well it's going to work here, but any little bit helps, I guess."
Other question. Sorry, I don't mean to bombard you, but do you know of any other Kreen that have ever been artificers? Do you know who might have made these artifacts?
I mean, I'm guessing my ancestors.
But not a specific one.
Well, this would have to be many Kreen. She's like looking over the whole ship.
Wait, are you saying that the entire ship was created by an artificer? It's all imbued with like magic?
Either one artificer over a long time, but I mean, the Kreen don't really live that long. Although it does seem to be that the ones without psionics live a little bit longer. But either one artificer over a long time or many working together.
Likelihood that many Kreen who are able to or have psionics exist at the same time in the same place. Didn't you say it's a pretty rare gift?
Yeah, that may just be because our population has dwindled so much. I imagine a long time ago that probably wasn't the case.
Interesting. Do I know that there was like a hefty clan of Kreen living on our world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You also know, like, you saw alive the last captain of this ship.
Right.
So for this to have been created a long time ago might be funky.
What do you mean?
Like, I know the captain doesn't, like, it's not that he would have had to have made it, but for nobody here to know the person who somehow got it to where it crash landed and was alive, still, it's maybe a couple decades, but nobody on this planet remembers them.
You do know that, Wyatt has been at the place for 20 years, and the throne from the ship had ended up in Wa like 200 something years ago.
Oh, right. Okay, so the ship's at least 200 years old.
And there was also
I guess they could just share the same name.
Around, I think it was like over 200 years ago. It was about the same time, a little bit before maybe. A little bit after maybe that Lantan had disappeared. So like some sort of big magical event happened all around kind of the same time.
Lantan? What's that?
It was a island that disappeared. So it was around that time that the ship crashed, you could guess.
Okay, interesting.
I guess two captains could have the same name, but it's weird that it said the last captain was just the most recent Kreen who was working in there.
What's the name of our planet?
Toril.
I'll ask her. I'll say I just have one more question, then I'll let you get to work. But do you know why a Kreen from here might want to go to Toril? Oh wait, it probably wasn't created here, right? The ship.
No, I think it was. If it came back here, if it came here without any sort of input from anybody, and it has all these Kreen locks and everything, so I think you can pretty much assume that it was made here, and it makes sense to me. But going to Toril, I don't know where that is. With this planet being so wrought with war and famine and everything, they might have just been trying to escape and going anywhere.
I'll say, all right, fair enough. So what are our next steps?
Well, after I get this sealed up for you, someone's going to have to attune to it in order to get this thing going. All of these artifacts, they shouldn't be taking up any attunement slots for you.
Huh.
So if you have them filled in there, they you would know already that they don't limit your ability to attune to things. Why? You would know that in order to attune to this, it counts as if you put the eye in it and attune to the whole piece together, you'll be attuned to both.
Ah, okay.
So I'll say, if you want to attune to your eyeball, whoever attunes to the helm or the throne has to also be attuned to the eyeball.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I'll explain that. I'll say, well, since I have this eyeball, seems to go to this throne, maybe it makes sense for me to attune to the throne once it's fixed, right?
Sort of in charge anyway, so it would make sense that you're the captain.
I've been a captain before, many a time. All right, well, we have a plan now.
Hey, ship ghost, do you have coordinates for Toril?
It doesn't respond.
Why does it hate me? Why do you hate me?
It looks at you and says, I don't hate you. I can't hate.
What is love?
So why don't you answer me?
Oh, you were talking to me. I'll be sure to remember that you want me to respond to you if you call me Ship Ghost.
So do you have coordinates for Toril or not?
Unfortunately, I do not. I'm not sure where Toril is, although I'm guessing that is the place where we came from.
Do you have any captain's logs or anything?
What would you like to know?
What was the last thing that the previous captain logged?
It says that they were leaving to go to the Anarok Desert to be with their people, as they had found an antidote to the pheromone poison caused by the previous mayor of Dali.
None of that means anything to me.
Yeah. All right. Well, what we're doing right now is we're fixing the throne, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say, all right, let's get this throne fixing going then.
All right. So about an hour goes by. The throne looks like you can't even tell that there's a seam or anything. And she says, "Are y'all hungry? It's kind of approaching dinner time, so I was going to head back to my shack and have some food. It's not much, but I didn't really see anything around here, so I figured I'd offer.
I'm always hungry.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, everything sort of got tossed and turned as we were hurtling through planes of existence or something. But I mean, y'all are welcome to. We have beds, and we should have some supplies, I think, in here. If it's a less harsh environment than a shack in the desert, because I know I'm not great with heat myself.
Says, well, that's kind of you. He goes, oh, you know what we can do is, was it Wyatt, you said?
I'll say yes.
You were the one that was going to attune to the helm?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, do that, and then I can kind of, I mean, I've only read about it, but I guess reading about it is better than no experience at all, about piloting a helm.
Wait, what did you ask me? What was the question?
Oh, she was saying that if you're going to attune to it, you should do that, so that way she could guide you through flying it. Then we can practice flying it over to my house.
Are there any other?
Oh,
maybe not too close to it.
I was going to say, are there any other like scouts or watchers who would notice that and report back to the God King?
Well, the further out from his palace you get, the less influence he has. So I think we'd be fine. I mean, he was able to see it, but he had to send me out there to do any sort of investigating. So
I'll say, all right. Well, I'm up for the challenge.
Okay. So you're tuning to it?
Yep.
Okay. About an hour goes by. You're like sitting in this throne for about an hour, kind of like getting in the mindset of flying this thing, and you kind of get the hang of like being in tune with this object, and Roxanne is kind of guiding you through it, and you feel the whole thing kind of like shake and start to lift up a little bit, and then she's kind of coaching you more about like what she has read about flying a ship.
And I'm also using my experience, being captain of a sea ship, right?
Sure. No, that actually has no bearing on this type of ship, at least.
There's probably a lot less friction. You don't got to worry about the wind. There's like at least 2 other directions you can go.
Lame.
She says now, in order to completely fly this thing, she says, you at least know like a cantrip, right?
I mean, I can detect good and evil real good.
Okay. She says, in order to fully be able to use this, you're going to have to tap into that, and this is going to, from what I understand, it's going to sort of jam your spells up. So for whatever your highest level spell is, you're not going to be able to use that while you're attuned to the helm. So throne. You call it the throne.
I'll say, well, what if I don't even have a first level spell?
Well, even a 0 level spell would be fine, like a cantrip.
Yeah. Well, that's what I have. No. It is first level. You're right. Wait.
You can cast it as a cantrip.
Oh, yes, but I have an ability that lets me cast it as a cantrip. Okay, so basically the only penalty is nothing because it's a cantrip, right?
While you're attuned to it, you can't cast this on something else if that is your only spell and spell slot.
Even if it's just a cantrip?
Yep.
Okay. I'll say, all right, well, y'all better watch out for some good and evil because I can't detect it anymore.
That's fine. I can do that too. And magic.
Oh, good.
A nice little 10-minute ritual to stare somebody down.
And I'm pretty sure that Ash can do that too, like way better.
She says, yeah, it's kind of effectively, it's a spell jamming helm.
I don't get it.
Yeah, no, it's fun. She says, okay, just all right, so just point it in that direction, and then she points towards her shack thing.
Get it?
No, I don't get it. What?
Lana gets it. James gets it. Maybe Ryan gets it.
Can someone please explain this to me? I want to know what the joke is.
Why putting his foot down? He will not fly this thing until someone explains it.
I demand you tell me what this joke is.
So,
I will
the
not.
joke is not in game. The joke is
I am the
out of game.
Okay. I guess I'll just never know. Okay. Anyway.
So your movement speed is miles per hour equal to the highest unexpended spell slot that you're using, essentially, times 10, minimum of 10. So you can move at 10 miles an hour. So you're moving at 10 miles an hour towards the shack.
Speeding along.
Mm-hmm. For comparison, a horse travels about 20 to 32 miles an hour.
So we're going very slowly.
You're going at like a jogging or running pace.
We're doing good.
Beginners, like training wheels.
Yeah, for sure.
It's easier to not crash into the nothingness in this desert.
Very true.
You're headed in the direction of Roxanne's shack, but you can kind of see off in the distance, but based on like where the throne is and the window that's all the way on the other side of the ship, it's kind of hard to pilot this thing on site alone. So you get kind of close and you notice that it's like dark in this area, and Roxanne says, oh, something is not right.
With the ship? With outside? With what?
She goes, my home. My home.
Oh. Oh no.
You can tell that her the area that her shack is on is like on kind of like a slight like plateau of stone. So they're kind of protected from the purple worms.
All right, well, let's park the ship and see what's wrong, right?
She says, yeah, and she runs out of the ship.
And I am left to park the ship by myself.
You got a pretty good handle on it. You're able to kind of set it down pretty lightly.
Oh, good. Okay.
You're about, I want to say, 300 feet away from the shack.
Okay. All right. So I'll probably, as quickly as possible, I'll say, all right, come on, let's help Roxanne, and I'll start. Can we open the door yet?
I mean, she just did. She also said there's a thing to like put cantrips into that will let anyone else do it.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't do that, but okay, I'll
Wait,
start.
So how did I open it then? I'm not Crane.
We're unsure. You just punched it hard enough. So we think.
I mean, I can tell you it's because the other two Kreen were on the other side of the door when you punched it.
That's what I thought.
But Arrow doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I'll start exiting the ship and running towards Roxanne's house.
Yeah, it looks like there are giant patterned scratch marks. It looks like almost like your sauna, kind of like that sort of shape, but it's made out of these like pieces of scrap metal of all different like sizes and shapes, almost like a metal box. But in this metal is like kind of scratched these patterned markings, and you see Roxanne kind of like on her knees on the side of the shack, looking towards the back of it.
I'll run up to her and I'll say, "What's wrong?"
And you see behind the shack is Granny and Pocky laying there, kind of eviscerated.
Like in what way?
Like that.
Like the same scratches that were on the shed is like cut into them.
Oh my gosh! What did this?
She says, I didn't think they could reach this far. And she says, on the shack it says disobey, and here, and she points at her grandma and her brother, and she says it says collateral.
Wait, so who did this? Because I'm gonna go kill them right now.
She says, as much as I'd like to do the same, I still don't think that's possible. She says these are scratches left from the shadows that Gilgamesh controls. He has less power, the further away from his palace you get, so he uses a necromancy to kind of use as like feelers, but I didn't think that his necromancy powers reached out this far. I guess he's grown in power recently.
I mean, how can we? Is there anything we can do to help avenge this? This is awful.
She says, I don't know if there's anything we can do.
What do you know about him? Do you know if he has any sort of weaknesses or?
Just his aura of influence. That's all I know.
Do you know if he has anything that he draws his power from?
Originally, it was worshippers, but it seems like he's found a way around that with necromancy.
Do you think he works like the helm of the ship, just sucking it out of everyone else?
In a sense, but I think since he's been using more and more necromancy powers, he's kind of benefiting off of death, and there's plenty of death on Athos. So, yeah, I mean, for him to not attack me directly and to attack my family, I was supposed to report if there was any living creatures on your ship, and it seems like he was able to at least see or find out.
I'll say, well, I'm sorry. I mean, if we can do anything to repay the debt that obviously you've given us, then let us know. I mean, again, the offer to take you away from this place still stands. But I understand, again, if you still aren't looking to leave.
She says, well, there's nothing left for me here. She starts to take off pieces of scrap from her shack, and it looks like she's building a cairn around their bodies.
I'll say, can I help at all?
She motions towards the shack.
Okay. I mean, I'll do the same as what she's doing.
Yeah.
See, I've heard it's pretty rare. It takes a pretty powerful sort of magic user to do it. But if we do find a way back to our world, I'm not sure how long it would take once we're there. But I've read about people who can not in any sort of necromantic way, but reincarnate or bring people just fully back from the dead. If you had a possession of theirs or a lock of hair, I'm not sure if your people have anything like we have. And I sort of run my fingers through my hair, like brushes that would just take it off my head rather than dismembering them. But
she says,
I've heard of ways of being able to bring people back.
She says, I don't know about that. I don't know if I would want to, bring them back to this, to more suffering. I'm not sure how long Granny had anyway. But my brother, and then she kind of sobs a little bit. And
we could bring him back to Toril with us too.
She grabs like a little piece of his bloodstained cloak, and she kind of stuffs it in like a little pouch that she has, and she says, I'll think it over.
Yeah, and anything that's not necromancy, that just sort of uses evil to force them and break them. I think it would require their soul, their spirit to be willing to come back. So it's also on them too.
That's good to know. Yeah, currently there's nothing left for me here, and I definitely don't want to go back to the palace. As much as I like the library, it's bittersweet.
Well, I'll help you finish here, but after that, I mean, the ship's working. Do you need anything before we head out?
It looks like both of the cairns are complete, and there's just like one strip of scrap left. And she says, I'll take this with me. And it's kind of almost like the size of like a plank, but it's like a piece of metal.
I'll say, what is that?
Just a piece of my home.
Say, fair enough. All right. Well, I guess we head out now, right? Does anybody else need anything here?
And just then you see the clouds that were kind of looming over clear, and the air kind of shakes, and like a big deafening sound, almost like a roar, but not quite, more like a siren, as you see this giant eyeball kind of pierce the sky, and behind it, almost like tentacles, or at the iris of the eye, there's like a giant mouth with teeth. Roxanne says that's a beholder ship.
Oh, like are they far off? Or are they right above us?
Yeah, so they're pretty far off, but you can tell this thing is like massive. It looks maybe the size of like maybe a small town.
Oh, I'll say, why would they be here?
She says they may have been able to track your ship somehow.
Our ship?
Yeah. That's not good. And you see it heading over towards the direction of the palace, and then you see this like stream of kind of like black shadowy mist and like almost like a straight line kind of shoot out towards this giant eyeball with a eye mouth. Roxanne says those ships can travel pretty fast, but they need a little bit of cooldown time. We should go.
I'll say, all right, well, let's get going. And I start heading towards the ship.
Yeah, as we start to head back, I would like try to hang not behind, but like close enough to Arrow that only really she could hear me, and say, I'm not a big fan of all the going to hell stuff, but I was thinking about maybe, figuring out how to open up a portal here and just kind of let them take over, because fuck this place.
Wait, who did you want to take over? I'm sorry, I'm not actually listening as a character, but who did you say you wanted to bring over here?
So Abby was worried about how we were going to get back and didn't really know how we got here. It was just like, okay, I know that I'm going to assume that she's read about like the planes of existence and how they're like loosely connected, and that's how you can sort of travel between them. Like, oh, maybe if we go to a plane of existence that's not the material plane, which this could be, it might be easier to get back to where we started in the material plane from there than from here. And I know Arrow wants to open a portal to hell anyway. We just literally open a portal to hell here and let hell come fuck this place up. We could maybe hop in and then hop back out and just let the Nine Hells take over this place. And be like, hey, here you go. Here's your awful necromancy energy. I probably know somebody else who wants these souls more than you do. Bye.
I mean, that could be lit. But my character doesn't hear this.
No.
As much as I like that idea, I never got around to learning how to do that.
Yeah, me either. I've read about plenty of stuff, but in action, it's not a whole lot yet.
Yeah,
So
I'm definitely okay with coming back here and killing this guy, though.
Me too.
But Abby's sort of plan is like me, Ryan, saying like, okay, so I'm going to go to the airport. I'm going to steal a plane. I'm going to fly it to somewhere else. Like, I could do that. That is a plan. It would never work. I have no idea how to fly a fucking plane. Abby has no idea how to open a portal to hell and then get out of hell once we're there.
So y'all are on this ship.
I am going to use what Roxanne taught me and try and get this ship out of here as quickly as possible and approximately towards wherever we came from, which I probably do not know very well, but approximately.
Yeah, so you head in that general direction, and you start to leave sort of the area of this planet. But as you're taking off, you see the Beholder ship kind of turn towards you, and it starts moving towards you, but very slowly. But your ship, as you get out of the sort of influence of this planet, you feel it kind of like move a lot faster. Roxanne says, I've read about this. There's this stuff called phlogiston. It's kind of like some sort of gas that's around like a big shell that contains all of like planets and stuff. And if you want to leave, you have to go through a portal or something on the surface. But from what the God King told me, he said the phlogiston flow to this sphere it doesn't exist anymore. But he said that he did come here from, and she looks up at the stars, and she says, "Oh, this direction." And she points to like a constellation that kind of looks like a fish. She says, "If you go through where the eye would be," she says, "I think that's what he said he came through."
I'll say, all right, I'll take it. That's better than anything I could have come up with, and I'll start steering the ship towards the eye.
The flow doesn't exist anymore, then how did we get here through it?
She says, yeah, I was wondering about that, but then I started looking around the ship a little bit, and she points towards the sphere that's in the middle of the scaffolding on the second floor. And she says, I think it was that. She says, that thing would normally let you... It looks like it's some sort of form of necromancy, but not in necessarily a bad way. She says it. I think that the Kreen were trying to restore our sun. From what I know, it was like a dying sun, and that also may be why most of the planet is pretty desolate. But she points out and she says, so in the middle of here, it looks like there was some sort of like a similar thing, a small dying blue sun. Ours is red, and this one is blue. And she says, this recess here, it must take some sort of necromantic plant life and absorb it, and that powers some sort of device that would make the ship go faster than normal by using some sort of mini sun energy, I guess.
Okay.
Didn't they like drop a mushroom into the thing, and that's what made the ship start in the first place?
It was a pod of some sort of plant.
Yeah, they're playing catch with some plant that Kira was just like, don't fuck with that. And they only grew around this. Maybe they only grew in the bubble in which the ship was contained.
Do we have any more of those on board? Probably not.
Are you saying any of this to Roxanne?
No, I don't think Era would know that they dropped a mushroom into the thing.
I would mention that there was some plants you didn't mess around with because they could hurt you that were growing only around the ship. That there was a woman we worked with who like knew a lot about like mushrooms and fungi, and like not that that's necessarily necromantic, but they're the eat the corpses of dead things, of plants.
I'll sigh lovingly.
She says, "Oh, I think I've read about those plants. I mean, they used to grow on Athos, but well, not in a long time. They are very dangerous, though. You said your friends were just tossing them around?
They're kind of dumb.
Like it was like a ball. They were like playing catch with it because it was vaguely spherical. It's like pods.
She says, "Well, I mean, they take a long time to grow, so it would have been a little bit before they bloomed. Those are yellow musk creepers. They will eat people. They only grow in a few places. They grow a lot slower, and they're more docile around. It's Rorschach mushrooms. There's like some sort of acid they give off, kind of feeds the plant. Usually they would grow in like pairs on Athos."
What would you assume about someone who protects these mushrooms? Or, yeah.
Yeah, she sort of knew a lot about all the like dangerous flora and fungi. That like this ship was part of an excavation site that our larger group was all working at, and that was within its own like sort of veil, this like bubble, so that outsiders couldn't intrude. A lot of this seemed to only grow inside of there and like right at the edges, sort of outside it.
Sounds like your friend was pretty smart and was researching this pretty well, I guess.
I think she just really likes mushrooms.
I'll say, yeah, it seems to be more of an affection for the mushrooms than really an interest academically.
I mean, mushrooms are pretty cute. I kind of get it.
You're traveling towards this constellation. You notice the similar thing as the last time. The stars seem like they're these flat sort of windows to just tons of fire. You don't see any people walking on the surface of this black wall, but you do see another crack in it. And this has taken about, you've been in the ship for about a day before reaching this, so it seems like the ship is traveling a lot slower than it did before.
So, Roxanne, do you think that those beholders were here for us? Or do you think they were here for your planet?
Yeah, from what I know, they have some sort of ability to know where other, like, beholders and beholder ships are.
Well, that's not good.
I'm guessing, well, this isn't really a beholder ship, but I'm guessing using that sun device up there sent out some sort of signal to them, or it was some way that they could track you. I don't know if it was using the ship itself, or else they probably would have came to wherever Toril is a long time ago.
What sunshine signal did we use? The one, was there like a sunshine signal when we started up the ship?
We'll call it a warp drive, essentially. Lit up in like a blue glow when the ship took off from Toril.
That's like the egg-majigger thing that we couldn't figure out what it was supposed to do, right?
Sort of. There's like two things. There's one underneath of the like AI head, but that's like a ball. It's not like transparent or anything. It's kind of like a giant Pokeball that's made of electrum. And then the one up top it's see-through, and it has like a small sphere inside of it as well.
Wasn't there like a pin-sized hole in it? We couldn't figure out what goes in there.
The one downstairs underneath the AI, there was an indentation of like a sewing needle. So instead of it like, not as if the sewing needle is poking into it, but as if the sewing needle is resting on the side of it, but an indentation.
Would I now assume that the beholder ship will follow us to wherever we go?
Roxanne doesn't think so unless you're using the like sun thing.
Okay.
Because it puts out like some sort of signal.
The pod thing filled it with energy, kickstarted the AI and ship to being on, which sent out the like AI message of, oh, we crash landed, emergency, go home. Used all the energy from the pod that we had on Toril. They trace it to that, but now you're using your cantrip magic to helm the ship, and you're flying it with that, not pod energy.
Okay, perfect.
Do you know if this ship has any sort of like barrier around it? Like, would I be able to like go out and stand on top of it while it's flying, or would I die?
Well, from what I understand, yeah, you should be able to. She goes, actually, that's another thing. There's supposed to be some sort of gravity field on the ship. On Gilgamesh's ship, it was right through the middle. So if you were on the underside, you could just kind of walk on the underside. And if you were below deck, you would go upside down. But I haven't seen this one's, or felt it at least. But yeah, you should be able to just go outside. I obviously don't jump away from the ship, because then you wouldn't be attached anymore.
Cool, that sounds like fun. Look at all the space and stuff. All the space stuff.
I mean, there is like the huge window.
But you're on the second day before you actually reach the outside of this, what Roxanne was calling a sphere. Then you're kind of like in this like dense, misty phlogiston. She says, so I think if we just keep going this way, we should hit a flow, I guess. Sort of like rivers in this stuff that kind of people travel along, I guess. Right now we're kind of, it's not really moving, it's just kind of dense. I'm not sure how long that will take.
Man, I wonder what else is out there.
I hope there's no like monsters or something. What is Shizeno doing this whole time?
Not much.
Freaking out internally about Wad.
Yeah.
Void of power left.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just hoping we get home so that my country doesn't implode.
I mean, I didn't see Lilith when we were leaving, right? Somebody else saw her in the window, but I didn't.
I think Shizeno did.
That Lilith showed up, and that's why like Sal left, was to go.
She was like,
because he's a paladin of a very high level, so he can sprout wings.
It wasn't just
sprouted his wings and went after. So yeah, I don't know if you would have told anyone.
Was I the only one that saw that? I thought 2 people saw that.
Somebody else might have. It might have been Wyatt.
I mean, I would have said something at the time.
That we saw Lilith show up.
Now.
Oh yeah.
Too stupid to pursue things 99% of the time.
I mean, if I had seen, I don't know if my character saw it, but if I had seen it, I would have told Arrow.
Because I mean, I'm pretty antsy to get back, but if I knew that was going on, I'd be like, "Let's go now, please."
I mean, if I saw it, I 100% would have told you like immediately.
Well, just give us like another week, and we'll be able to maybe figure it out.
Yeah. So another day goes by. Y'all are still in the dense phlogiston.
So I don't feel like we're making any progress here.
Do you think putting magic into the ship like last time might help?
I assumed it was working before because the throne was sort of absorbing all of it.
Hey, ship ghost.
He says, yes.
Do you know where we are?
Absolutely not. I don't have navigating capabilities. Unless someone has inscribed a glyph noting a location, I only know of with us. I also wouldn't know how to navigate directly unless I've taken a specific path there. So I can tell you where we've been.
I'll ask Roxanne. Do you think we would like just continue to cruise if Wyatt detuned from the helm of the throne?
I think that because this phlogiston is like dense, it would gradually kind of slow us down. Kind of have to actively be channeling in order to propel the ship forward, or any direction really.
Wyatt, if you and me, or I guess mostly if I took over, I could put roughly 5 times as much magic into this. Hopefully speed this up.
Roxanne says, well, from what I know about these ships, they all kind of max out at the same speed.
At the very least, I could try and just see if something works more than this.
I'll say, you think you need to be attuned, or can you just put magic into it while I'm attuned?
I don't know.
Well, try something small. Put something small into it right now, and we'll see if it works. I just don't want to lose time, you know?
Yeah, I would cast a 2nd level locate object, trying to like get the feeling of like, I guess I would say like where we would normally go I'll say the debriefing room. Like I'm trying to get the feeling of tracing where that is, to like try to put the energy of like navigating to something and locating it into the helm and everything.
What type of magic is that?
Divination.
You feel like that spell actually didn't even work.
So before, when Roxanne was fixing it, she said that it had to be like artificer magic. Can I ask her more about that?
Sure. She says, yeah, it's kind of innate to artificers from what I understand. It's sort of a magical tinkering.
From everything I've learned, there's different, like, we would call them schools of magic, because you could like sort of focus on one as opposed to the other. I wouldn't assume it would be necromancy. I guess it could be from the weird sun engine thing, but would you know of another school of magic that artificer stuff would be? Do you think if I try to put some of that into the ship, or necromancy, even if that might propel it faster?
I think that the only time it would go faster is when it's like on a planet. From what I know of Gilgamesh's ship and his abilities with magic, he, at least from what he said, he was able to move his ship a lot faster than Wyatt was able to. And Wyatt said that they didn't really use a lot of magic. So, and I know that these ships travel kind of the same fast speed. But if they're, that's another thing, I guess, is if you come close to an object that's kind of big enough, the ship will kind of slow down. That's kind of why you travel slower near a planet, is it's kind of interacting with the ship somehow. But I don't think any specific type of magic makes it go faster. I think it's just you're overcoming a little bit of that object's interaction with the ship with higher level magic. I don't know. I don't even think someone with the most magic would be able to go as fast as we're going now on a planet.
So I'm getting that this is the fastest we're going for a while, yeah?
I think so. I mean, we could try it. What I know is just all the stuff that has been in the library and Gilgamesh's journals and stuff, but I don't have them to reference right now, but...
I mean, what else are we going to do right now than experiment, right? So it's worth a shot.
I will try to cast Enlarge Reduce, but Reduce, which is transmutation on the helm because it's so heavy, so maybe if it's smaller and the ship weighs less, we can go faster.
You feel like that spell also didn't do anything.
Am I using these spell slots, or it's just fizzling?
It's fizzling, yeah.
Hey, Ship Ghost.
Yes.
What is your functionality?
To provide information and guidance.
Do you have any sort of information on navigating the phlogiston?
I only know about what I've experienced recently. It seems like the phlogiston is a very dense sort of fog.
Did you pick up any information on our way here, or
unfortunately,
any information from past voyages from previous captains?
Unfortunately, I was broken.
I mean, that's valid.
Do you do anything, or are you just kind of hang out?
The more information you give me now that I'm fixed, I'll be able to do more with that. He says, I've noticed that the quality of air has been dropping as we've been traveling.
No, that's not good. That's very not good.
How do we fix it?
Unknown.
Roxanne, what do you think about this?
Well, I was trying to, I found like a dirty, looks like a little piece of beef jerky on the floor over here, and I was trying to purify that, but it seems like my transmutation magic, which isn't really working. But then again, it wasn't working too well back on Athos, but at least a little bit.
Is anybody's magic working?
Nothing that I've tried seems to be working.
I'm going to try powering up my sword.
That works.
Mine's just fine.
You hear the Kreen head say, "It seems that fire is decreasing the air quality at a rapid rate."
Fire where?
Arrow's sword.
I put it away really quick.
Just then, it seems like you've entered some sort of tube of this phlogiston kind of moving in like a direction as the ship kind of careens that way, almost like it's like pushing the ship.
Found the flow.
But you also notice that the ship is slowing down a little bit, and then you hear things slamming on the outside of the ship.
Oh my god. Why couldn't this just be an easy journey? Can I move around the ship while still staring at it?
No, actually, no, you can't.
Okay. I'll say, well, somebody check what that is.
I'm looking out the window.
Can I just panic activate the shields around the ship?
Mm-hmm. You don't hear any of the like banging anymore.
Arrow, I assume, can also control half of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4. I'm holding one right now, though. I'll run and throw that back where it goes. So we're in the ship.
So you have the sort of the 6 axes of the ship, essentially.
I assume the window is looking forward.
Yeah. So the front window is looking forward. It's at the front of the ship. That's kind of forward and up. Yeah. And then the back one is pretty much just looking up. Although you can see out the sides of both of them.
Can we see anything out the windows?
Yeah, I'm looking out the window right now, actually.
There's dense fog, so it might not be the best.
So the phlogiston has actually like lightened up, and it seems like you're traveling through kind of like a tube of phlogiston. You can see pretty clearly this giant pyramid shape coming towards you, and it looks like there's large stones being catapulted off the side of it by, it looks like skeletons.
Cool. Fun.
Huh.
Is that a ship?
I would assume so.